Welcome to the 2025 Minnesota State High School League Adapted Soccer Season. My name is Jason Nickleby and I'm the Director of the Officiating Program. I will be narrating portions of this module along with State Adapted Soccer Coordinator Craig Pearson. Thank you for your service as a coach or as an official. We look forward to having the opportunity to play in the next few weeks. We will now cover some general soccer information as well as adapted soccer specific information before moving on to the rules changes for 2025. We will be covering the editorial changes and the points of emphasis from both the MSHSL and the Minnesota State High School League, and then we will conclude the module with a review of several administrative items. Please note the recommendations noted on the slide regarding air quality. Decisions regarding the status of a game with regards to air quality will be made by the school and not the officials. So even if the air quality index is greater than 200 and it's recommended that the event be moved or postponed, the officials are not making that determination, the school is. So just a reminder on that, and these are only recommendations, they are not requirements. With regards to heat and cold, we do have policy language on whether it is too hot or too cold to play a contest. Again, the school makes the determination on that, not the officials, but we do have policy requirements regarding heat and cold, and I would encourage coaches and ADs to refresh themselves, make sure you're on the same page regarding air quality, heat and cold, and how we're going to communicate, how we're going to move forward with that particular contest. But just a reminder, air quality recommendation only, not a requirement. Heat and cold are requirements, and schools need to be on top of those decisions as they occur. As a reminder, if a coach, parent, or other concerned party has an eligibility question such as chemical or behavior issues, should direct those questions to the activities director. Even if a soccer player is ineligible, the officials are not to rule on such matters, and all inquiries should be directed to the activities director of the school involved. We will continue with the concept of the pregame, administrative, and medical timeout during the 2025 season. This meeting will take place approximately 10 minutes before the contest begins and will hopefully be led by a site administrator. The meeting will cover sportsmanship, what to do with a challenging situation such as an unruly spectator or other disruption, as well as medical emergency planning. We hope this meeting will get administrators, coaches, and officials on the same page going into their respective contests. This pre-contest timeout is not required, but is definitely recommended that schools do this. Cover where to find the AED, where to go if there's inclement weather, what to do if someone is on the site that doesn't belong there, all those kinds of things. Um, Although rare, they do happen, and it just is much better for all the participants, the officials, everyone on site, if we all know what our role is in those situations. We've had medical emergencies in the past at contests, at practice, and in many cases, those individuals were saved because we had a plan and we were ready to do what we needed to do. And the pre-contest timeout is really a great way to cover that in a short amount of time and have everyone be on the same page. Um, Coaches and ADs, just a reminder that the pre-contest timeout video and the script can be found on the league's website. And again, we certainly encourage that you use the pre-contest timeout during games this season. It is never acceptable for a coach to be ejected from a contest. You are responsible for modeling respectful behaviors at all times. Should a coach be ejected from a contest, they are ineligible to coach or play the remainder of games scheduled for that day and must sit out the next contest date after the date of the offense. This suspension must be enforced whether or not your school has received an ejection report. This is the responsibility of the head coach. A violation of this rule results in a forfeit. A second ejection in the same season results in a 4-game suspension. Ejections may not be appealed. As you can see on the slide, a coach that has been suspended may not have access to the locker room, be seated or spectate in an area near the bench, or ride the bus to or from the contest. Obviously, a coach that has been ejected from a contest that is at another school may ride the bus back to their school. Over the last several years, we've had way too many ejections in soccer. In many cases, it is miscommunication or a misunderstanding that could have been handled a lot better through respectful communication on both the part of the official and the coach. Let's work together as officials and coaches to have respectful dialogue. If there's a question, ask it respectfully, and then let's move forward with the contest. Officials are expected to take care of business as it relates to addressing behaviors using tools that are available to them in the rules book. This includes a warning, but it also includes cards. Warnings may be given, but are not required. If behavior crosses the line from a warning type situation to a cardable situation, we expect officials to take care of business in this regard. Coaches, we need you to model respectful behavior to your players. We need ejections to come down in number, and we want, again, officials and coaches to work together to make this happen. Athletes have similar consequences as coaches when they are ejected from a contest. They are ineligible to play in any games scheduled for the remainder of that day and must sit out the next contest that occurs after the date of the offense. This suspension must be enforced whether or not your school has received an ejection report. The head coach is responsible for ensuring compliance with this bylaw. A violation of this rule results in a forfeit. A second ejection in the same season results in a 4-game suspension. Ejections may not be appealed. An athlete that is suspended during the regular season may travel with the team and occupy the bench area, but may not be in uniform. An athlete that is suspended during the postseason may not be in uniform, may not occupy the bench area, and may not participate in the awards ceremony or receive awards. If an athlete, or coach for that matter, is ejected, they can certainly ride the bus home if it's a away contest and so forth. But if it is a subsequent contest, especially in the postseason, they cannot be in the bench area. If athletes are ejected in a regular season game or in a postseason game, both, they should stay in the bench area with supervision of a coach. If they leave voluntarily, that is up to them and the coach, but they are not required by rule, except in hockey, to leave the bench area. In subsequent games, they need to be out of the bench area, may not be in uniform, and may not receive awards in the postseason.
Hello, this is Craig Pearson, State Rules Coordinator for Adaptive Soccer. I will be leading you through the next few sections of this presentation. In adaptive soccer, we've always allowed for substitutions when there's a suspension in the game. This is not a new rule for us, but it just clarifies what we've been doing. If we have an injured player on the court while play is going on, and we feel it's necessary for a trainer or a coach to come onto the court to assist that player, even if they're a goalie, must leave the game and be checked and cleared before they can come back in. In adaptive soccer, you may have a number on the front of the shirt or the front of the pants, but that is not a requirement. This rule has always been in the books, but it now clarifies that intervals between periods are for rest and not for engaging with the officials. This rule now introduces specific language and penalties for coaches or players who confront officials during these intervals, aiming to reduce unnecessary disputes and maintain a respectful game environment. Misconduct, Rule 12-4-4B. To encourage and support sporting and positive bench decorum, the rule change reinforces the head coach's responsibility for the conduct of their team and bench personnel within the team area. It provides officials with additional tools, allowing them to warn, caution, or eject the head coach if any bench personnel engage in misconduct. Definitions. Rule 18. This change relocates definitions into their corresponding rules, streamlining the rules book by reducing redundancies and contradictions. The expanded index at the back of the book continues to serve as a helpful quick reference tool, while definitions were updated and aligned in context with appropriate rules. I will now go over the editorial changes for this year. This rule clarifies that a substitute cannot take a penalty shot. This language aligns all NFHS rules books language as to what may appear on a player's uniform. This editorial change breaks up the large paragraph of officials' duties and jurisdictions into bite-sized pieces. We will now go over the points of emphasis for this season. High school athletics are education-based. High school athletics play a vital role in the overall growth of student athletes, providing opportunities to develop physically, mentally, and emotionally. Adaptive soccer serves as a platform for building essential life skills such as teamwork, discipline, leadership, and resilience. Coaching priorities focus on fundamental skills, strategic gameplay, and decision making while instilling respect for opponents, officials, and teammates. As the game evolves, a strong understanding and application of the rules are essential to maintaining a fair and safe competition, making rules education a key responsibility for players, coaches, and officials. A well-rounded adaptive program should emphasize both academic and athletic development, reinforcing the importance of discipline, time management, and perseverance. Education-based athletics prepare students not only for success in sports, but also for their future endeavors by teaching valuable life lessons through competition. Schools, coaches, and administrators must work together to ensure that high school soccer fosters growth, responsibility, and leadership, creating a positive experience that supports students' success both on and off the field. The next point of emphasis is courage, character, and consistency. These qualities encourage the game to be managed fairly, effectively, with integrity. Officials must have the courage to make difficult decisions, calling fouls equally for both teams without fear of backlash from players, coaches, or spectators. This courage extends to maintaining authority on the field, recognizing and firmly addressing any attempts to challenge their control or interference with the game. Team areas and bench decorum. Effective communication is essential for officials in maintaining control over the match, particularly when dealing with bench decorum and sportsmanship. An official's role is to keep the game safe, fair, and fun, which requires adapting to the level of play and responding to the game situations as they develop. I will now cover items that pertain to adaptive soccer. Shin guards are not required to play the game of adaptive soccer. However, if a player does wear shin guards, they need to be fully covered. If the gym is hot and humid, officials can and are encouraged to declare water breaks. You don't need agreement from coaches, but they can be notified ahead of the game if the need for a water break is anticipated. Regular season games which end tied after regulation time shall be recorded as a tie. No overtime games are played during the regular season. When a coach continues to show disrespect, either verbally or through a demonstrative behavior, it is strongly recommended that the official should stop play, go to the coach and tell them that they have been issued an official warning. The official should document the time of the incident and the name of the coach in the referee's game record. No further warning is to be given to that coach. The next issue results in a yellow card at a minimum. To also further clarify, an official warning is not necessary prior to giving a card. This is an effective tool in a number of sports. Hopefully everyone will move forward in a positive way before cards are issued.
Once a coach has received a yellow card, there is no further warning. That yellow card serves as the warning, and the red card shall be given if there are further issues. Remember, there is no tolerance for profanity, and no warning is given, go directly to a yellow or red.
Coaches, as you know, we don't have as many officials in a number of sports, and there is a critical shortage in some areas of the state. Please be reminded that adaptive soccer is an education-based program. Abusive language, dissent, and aggressive negative behavior is not part of education-based activities, just like it wouldn't be within the school during the day, and is not tolerated. When the game ends, officials are encouraged to gather their bags and leave the gym together as soon as reasonably possible. There are several reasons a school may need to request a letter of authorization. It is imperative the activities director takes the necessary steps to provide good documentation to Randy Hill at rhill@mshsl.org well in advance of the first contest, unless this is a last minute set of circumstances that prevent the early work. The clock will not be stopped for goals unless specified by Rule 7-1-6 in the supplement. Rule 717 and 922 clarification. Possession is defined as a goalie having control of the ball with the hands, 12-7-1, or a floor player clearly dribbling or handling the ball in space. Coaches may call timeout if the ball is dead or their team has possession of the ball as defined above. On a kickoff, the ball has to touch an offensive or defensive player other than the goalie for it to be a goal. Dangerous driving supplemental rules, Rule 12.1.2. Wheelchair players are not allowed any form of charging, ramming, or initiating contact with their wheelchair toward an opponent, ambulatory or in wheelchairs. Wheelchair players must avoid any contact if an opponent is stationary in front or behind them. Penalty is a direct free kick. Dangerous driving. If the foul is committed by a defender in his or her defensive penalty area, then a penalty kick is awarded. If an opposing player quickly steps in front of or behind a wheelchair, thus not allowing that chair a chance to avoid the contact shall be deemed incidental and not penalized. Handling Supplemental Rules Rule 12.2.1. For players who use their hands rather than their feet to propel the ball, they must bat, push, or propel the ball in a way that is comparable to a kick of the foot. The ball must be rolling. Grabbing, throwing the ball is not legal and should be penalized as illegal use of hands. Running, PI division only. Supplemental Rules, Rule 12-9. Running is strictly prohibited. A player is running when they do not maintain 1 foot, base of support, on the floor at all times. When a player runs, sprints, or jogs, they have a flight phase in which both feet leave the floor at the same time. A player's speed itself is not restricted. Players may legally move quickly as long as they have 1 foot on the floor at all times, which may be accomplished by sliding, dragging their feet, speed walking, or taking long steps. Officials are requested not to warn athletes but call all running violations. Wheelchairs do not have restrictions on speed. Running, PI division only. This slide shows a legal situation where the athlete has maintained 1 foot on the floor at all times, and an illegal where it's a flight phase where both of the feet are off the floor at the same time. Running, PI division only continued. Running penalties. The first 2 team infractions per half will result in an indirect free kick from the point of infraction by the opposing team. For the third and successive infraction per half, the opposing team is awarded a penalty kick. Jumping. A player may jump in an attempt to head the ball. This shall not be considered a flight phase, and so no penalty shall be called for running. Obstruction. A player may not put his or her foot in the path of a wheelchair's wheel in an attempt to stop, slow, trip, or prevent movement of the wheelchair player. The penalty is an indirect free kick. Players using walkers or wheelchairs. Teams must play at least two athletes using wheelchairs or one wheelchair and one player using a walker. If the team is short one player using a wheelchair, it must play one player short. A player whose physical condition requires the use of a walker, a device with four bases of support for mobility, will be counted as one of the required players using a wheelchair. Players that use crutches or canes are not counted as a player using a wheelchair. Players using wheelchairs must be independent in management of their wheelchairs, manual or power. No assistance will be allowed, whether it is a pusher, a person having a remote control, or any other physical assistance. An ambulatory player using a walker to fulfill one of the roles at any point of a given game will not be allowed to enter the game as a non-assisted device user. They may use a wheelchair or walker but cannot play as an other ambulatory player. The MAA is responsible for scheduling of regular season games, seeding, and conducting state qualifying playoffs, assigning officials for all games, and supporting coaches' recommendations for rule changes. We support and encourage all coaches to join the Minnesota State High School Coaches Association. Membership forms can be completed online. Questions about scheduling? If you have questions about scheduling, seating, or need help finding information, please contact Marcus Onsom. His information is below. Conference website. Each activities director should have full access to the conference website. If you need access, have your AD contact Marcus Onsom. ADs will be responsible for making any changes in schedules on the MAAA website. ADs and coaches are responsible for recording game score results on the MAAA website. Scores entered on the MSHSL website are not reflected on the MAAA website. Official assigner. Adaptive Soccer official assigner is myself, Craig Pearson, at 952-451-9460, and my email address is sunvikes@gmail.com. Adaptive soccer schedules can be changed anytime prior to August 1st. After August 1st, please contact myself before making changes to assure there are officials available. The official assigner for each sport is also a rules expert and are available to answer your questions.
Hi, this is Jason. I'm back to cover a few administrative reminders before concluding this module. The NFHS has a new digital publication platform called NFHS Digital. This replaces the previous NFHS app, which was the NFHS All Access app. This publication platform includes rules books, case books, officiating manuals, and other publications from the NFHS. To learn more about this platform, go to nfhs.org/nfhsdigital to learn more. To access the rules books and other publications from the NFHS, you need to download the mobile app. You can go to the App Store or Google Play to download the app, and again, the app is free to download. However, you do need to purchase rules books or other publications within the app, and they are typically $6.99 per publication. The publications, including the rules books and case books, are all searchable. You can make notes, and there are typically rules quizzes. You should go to the NFHS digital site online to learn more, and you should also download the mobile app if you are interested in moving forward with accessing NFHS digital publications. The NFHS Learning Center is home to more than 100 online professional development courses for everyone within the interscholastic community, including coaches, students, officials, parents, and administrators. More than 70 of these courses are available for free. Go to nfhslearn.com to create your profile and to learn more about these courses. Over 21 million courses have been delivered on the NFHS Learn platform, as you see on the screen. Many of these courses are very beneficial to all members of the MSHSL community. Again, go to nfhslearn.com to create your profile and to learn more about these courses and the other courses that are provided on that platform. Sport-specific officiating courses are offered in several sports. They are ideal for new officials and those in their first few years of officiating. These courses introduce officials to the mechanics and techniques used in the sport and provide specific information on an area within that sport. Individuals can complete a course within 30 to 45 minutes, and these courses are free. Interscholastic officiating is a general course on sports officiating, and it is free to all officials and prospective officials. Again, this course provides an introduction to skills and concepts used as an official, and several topics are covered, such as basics of becoming and staying an official, the science of officiating, the art of officiating, and how to combine these skills to be successful in your officiating career. Implicit biases are the automatic reactions we have towards other people based on our past learning and expectations. Studies show that implicit bias affects the experiences of students in school athletic and activity programs. The NFHS has partnered with Project Implicit to bring you this course, Implicit Bias. Studies support that there is a relationship between implicit bias and real-world behavior, which highlights the importance of being aware of and managing your bias. This course defines and illustrates examples of implicit bias and provides research on how it impacts our society. Coaches and officials, if you have questions or issues in regards to rules, officiating, officiating mechanics, or anything else related to the rules or how the game is administered, should contact the coordinator staff listed on the screen. The state coordinator for adapted soccer is Craig Pearson. This year, we will be incorporating regional coordinators and having a coordinator team for all of our adapted sports. Tom Steffen has been the state coordinator for many years in adapted hockey, and Michelle Snyder has been the state coordinator for many years in adapted softball. And now all three of these individuals will be working together to help administer our adapted programming. We look forward to working with them on developing training and resources for our officials to be successful, and also providing more contact points for our coaches and our schools. So looking forward to having this team put together for this upcoming school year. But again, Craig Pearson is the state coordinator, so if you do have specific questions relative to adapted soccer or to the assignments and so on, Craig Pearson would be your contact. This information can be found on the Central Hub and on the coach's dashboard. Thank you for your time and attention during this module. We hope you enjoy your time this season working with the adapted athletes and our programs. The adapted program that we have in Minnesota is truly incredible, and it's really a model for the entire country. And it's going to be a great opportunity for all of us when we get to be part of that as we go into this season. So have a great time, enjoy it, and we look forward to seeing you out there this season.